I'm Donna Blanchard, and this is a ThinkTech commentary. I'd like to talk about terrorism in Europe. Last week, a young Moroccan man boarded a Paris-bound train in Amsterdam with an assault rifle, a pistol, loads of ammunition, and a box cutter. His name is El-Khazzani. He stood up on the moving train holding his guns, apparently ready to open fire. Thankfully, he was stopped by 5 brave men on that train. He was not stopped by France's new surveillance law, which is akin to the much maligned U.S. Patriot Act. That law only came into effect at the end of July. In 2014, Spanish authorities notified French intelligence services that Khazzani joined, quote, the radical Islamist movement. He then moved from Spain and was assigned an S profile, which is intended to alert border police. Spain also notified Belgium about Khazzani because he appears to have resided there as well as France most recently, but that didn't help. He's one of 5,000 on the S profile list. He wasn't stopped by a security check or metal detector because there aren't any of those for trains. Terrorism experts call these soft targets, places where there are a lot of people and little security. 40 million passengers travel on 100,000 trains in Europe every day, and the larger train stations are like small bustling towns themselves. Mr. Khazzani definitely set out to cause harm that day, but he may not have known exactly when or where. Unlike the terrorism days of the past, when most activities were carried out in a carefully planned fashion with trained operatives, Khazzani appears to have been on his own and poorly trained, if he was trained at all. It's been noted that using an assault rifle in an enclosed space in which one can barely turn around is simply the wrong tool for the job. Francois Heisberg, a defense and security analyst at the Foundation for Strategic Research in Paris, suggested that Khazzani might have been attracted to Islamic radicalism and jihad, traveled to Syria, and was told simply to go home and do your worst, to act on initiative, and then he was probably told where to get weapons. So we've established that once you're in Europe, it's pretty easy to get around from country to country, even if you're carrying a bag of weapons and ammunition. We also know that though the governments are aware and on alert for terrorist jihadists and the recruits, they've got their hands full of thousands of individuals to keep an eye on. Know what else? Hundreds of thousands of migrants are flooding into Europe from places like Iran and Syria. They're seeking asylum, but Europe doesn't know what to do with them. Many of them are flooding into Greece of all places. Greece is struggling to stay in the European Union. They aren't exactly equipped to deal with poor, starving, huddled masses all on their shores. And what's happening there and across southern Europe is panic, which is leading to poor treatment of these migrants, in some cases, violence. Not long ago, we talked about the fact that ISIL actively recruits people who are living in a fight-or-flight world. They're ruled by their rudimentary reptilian brain. Those impoverished, threatened, and marginalized people experience very little space between an event and a reaction, fight or flight. Surrounding the reptilian brain is the limbic system of emotions and feelings, and a step beyond that, the neocortex, which governs imagination, logic, critical thinking, objectivity, and empathy. European leaders, in fact, all of us, need to make a concerted effort to stay in the neocortex and utilize imagination, logic, critical thinking, objectivity, and empathy to deal with these issues. These are game-changing issues, and we all need to bring our A game when it comes to supporting solutions. I'm Donna Blanchard, and this has been a ThinkTech commentary.